This is the New Balance 2000, one of the wildest and most anticipated sneakers of 2025. But now it's finally here. Is it actually any good? We have the box. Unfortunately, just the regular New Balance box. So all over gray with the MB on the front. It's a little bit disappointing. Was hoping for something special, but New Balance doesn't typically do special boxes unless it's a collaboration. Feel like these kind of deserved a special box. Well, let me show you guys today's sneaker. It's the New Balance 2000. Oh man, these things are looking wild. Okay, so clearly I've been pretty excited about this pair of shoes for a while, ever since they first teased it, which kind of came out of nowhere. It was just like a few random images online that surfaced, and now they're finally here. It's not very often that we get a new silhouette from New Balance. They seem to be very methodical with their release cycle. But to be fair to them, that seems to work for them. I mean, the last ones that dropped, the 9060s, that was a new model, and those things blew up. So it's like every time New Balance does come out with a new silhouette, all attention and eyes are on it. These are definitely different though. They set themselves apart. It's definitely from New Balance in their typical lineup. These are definitely an outlier. One of the toughest sells with this pair of shoes, I will say, has to be the retail price. These cost $170 if you're in the US, or £170 if you're here in the UK. Definitely a steep price, so do these justify that super high price point? Well, I think we should start off with probably one of the coolest and most interesting aspects of this sneaker, and that is the midsole. Clearly the biggest design feature of this pair of shoes, the wild segmented pod design that a lot of people have compared to the Vapor Max from Nike, or even the Nike Shocks. But instead of air or weird spring things, whatever the hell's in the Shocks, this goes for an almost gel-like feel to it. Honestly, New Balance has used this technology before. They call it Absorb SBS. So no, it's not like a new cushioning that they've just invented for this model. It goes throughout their lineup, like with the 2002R or even the New Balance 9060. Both had Absorb SBS. Now the pods work in conjunction with regular Absorb cushioning, which is all of the foam that you see around it. And again, this combination has been on a lot of other New Balance sneakers. So again, we're not reinventing the books here with this pair of shoes, even though it does look like it. However, I will say this has to be the most amount of Absorb SBS that they've ever put in a pair of shoes, at least from my knowledge. But I do think it's mainly for the visual aspect. I don't think it's necessarily like more equals better. Now flipping it over to the outsole, that's where things get really cool, because you can see all of the segmented lines. It is really just like they've added a bunch of different pods to the bottom. This design really reminds me of like a couple different shoes. The Fila Soul shoe immediately comes to mind, especially around here at the back. Just how like it kind of extends from just the general silhouette of the sneaker. Now another thing you will notice is that the forefoot and the heel area of this outsole is completely disconnected. So they also added a little stability plate in the middle, which helps with, I guess, this pair of shoes not just folding in half. It keeps that stable feeling on foot. Now, unlike the rest of New Balance's lineup and what we're typically used to seeing with New Balance, the quality materials and craftsmanship are not really present on this pair of shoes. They've gone with a no-sew approach. So you basically just have a mesh upper with a bunch of different overlay panels that have either been fused on or just glued on. It definitely doesn't feel like it's gonna fall off or anything. I don't think there's gonna be any durability issues, but yeah, it's just all just glued on. It's a lot more techy and futuristic looking, even though I do believe that this design is inspired by like Y2K fashion and like early 2000 sneakers. I definitely wouldn't write off the possibility of these coming in a bunch of different types of materials in the future. New Balance does tend to do that, so it could be pretty likely that we see a suede and leather upper on a 2000 in the future. Now, according to New Balance on their website and the listing for this pair of shoes, they said that there's reflective details on here, although I hit it with the flash and I couldn't really see that. I mean, there are like lighter panels on here which do tend tend to kind of shine when you put a flash on it, but it's not the same as like typical reflective material. The ankle and tongue area in terms of padding is, I guess, adequate, to put it lightly. It's nothing really out there as like, wow, this feels like it's going to be super comfortable or anything like that. The tongue does have a nice design where it's like thinner in the center and then kind of puffs out around the side, so it is a nice feel when you slide your foot in there and it sits securely right in the middle of that tongue. But yeah, overall these feel decent in hand. In terms of quality, it's not gonna shock you. It's not gonna be like, wow, this is an insanely well-made pair of shoes, but it's decent. It's very simple and minimalistic, and most of the tech and I guess what you're really paying this high price point for is in the midsole. So I could definitely imagine some people getting this pair of shoes in and being like, wow, 170 is quite a lot. I think it would be a lot more compelling if these were like 20 bucks cheaper. But hey, let's get into the big question. How do these feel on foot and how comfortable are they? Let's start with sizing. So I went with my true to size like I do with pretty much every single New Balance sneaker, and these fit perfectly. So yeah, that's what I'm going to recommend to you. If you've tried on any other New Balances, you should be pretty safe with that same size, or just stay true to size. I'm a big fan of the fact that you can wear these loose lace. That's just kind of like an aesthetic that I kind of like, just when the laces are all just undone. Some shoes, it gets really annoying and they kind of flop around. These don't, so that's a big plus in my opinion. One drawback though on foot is that when you try and slide your foot in, if you just wanted to use no hands and just, put your feet in, walk out the door, it's a little bit tough with this pair of shoes. What I found is when I tried to do that, the tongue would slip down because it's not attached to the actual sneaker, so you do need another hand to just pull it up. So a little bit less of a slip on and go type sneaker. Now as for comfort, I think the best comparison would be the New Balance 9060. These two shoes feel very, very similar on foot in terms of comfort and just how they feel generally speaking, if not identical in some cases. I do prefer on the New Balance 9060 some of the materials that you typically get. Like this is obviously a collaboration version, so it's going to be a little bit elevated, but most of them have a really nice soft tongue. They've got soft sock liner material. These are definitely a little bit more toned down. Like you just get the mesh. It's not extremely puffed out or anything. It's just kind of basic materials that you would find in any retro runner. But the midsole and cushioning underfoot is practically the same. It's not a super marshmallowy, squishy feel. It's definitely decent, so it feels super cushy. It's a shoe that you could just slide your foot in and be like, yeah, I feel super confident. I can wear these all day long with no issues. But in short, if you've tried the 9060, you can expect pretty much the same experience when you're wearing these. I will say that this one is a little bit lighter. The New Balance 9060 is pretty chunky and heavy. These are chunky, but not so heavy. Now, along with comfort and wearing these things around, another big question that I had was styling, because, I mean, these look pretty different. I thought it may be a little bit of a challenge. So I went ahead and chucked a bunch of different pants on to try and test these things out. And honestly, I feel like the best look I found was with shorts. I really liked the way that looked. I mean, it could be a combination of this colorway, but I just thought the entire silhouette looked really good just in a simple pair of shorts. Blue denim was a little bit of a tricky one with this colorway. I think with other colorways it should be fine. It just kind of, it looked a little bit too same. This is a very light blue color, but darker and neutral denim, it just looks great. If you're someone who likes to wear baggier trousers, I think that's also a cool look with this pair of shoes, because you get that super chunky midsole kind of like peeking out from the side, which is just a dope look. One thing I do think is important to mention is that if you're someone who's interested in this pair of shoes, you don't necessarily have to feel pressured to get this launch colorway. We know that New Balance has like a bunch of different colorways in the pipeline. They've got like gray colors, black colors, pink colors. It's all going to be coming very soon, and I just imagine that they're going to be doing a bunch of different options with this pair of shoes. So if this colorway isn't it for you, then maybe hold out for those. I just know that it's something I've done quite a lot, is I've bought a launch color because I'm a huge fan of the model, and then another better colorway comes along in the future and I'm a little bit pissed off because now I'm stuck with this one. But for me personally, this blue colorway is fantastic. This is the one I'm going to be adding instantly to the rotation. I think this is damn near a perfect summer shoe. I'm a huge fan of these. I think they're going to be pretty popular, especially when they do drop a bunch more colors and when people actually try these things on foot, because they're really nice. But hey, let me know what you think of these down in the comment section. Would you wear them? And of course, if you want to check out another video, all you got to do is click that one right over there.